Services Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Blankley. Mr. Blankley is present. Ms. Bonnick. Ms. Bonnick is present. Mr. Brew. Mr. Brew is present. Mr. Cruz. Mr. Cruz is present. Mr. Dondorfer is excused. Chairwoman Hasman.
Here.
Chairwoman Hasman is present. Mr. Milne.
Here.
Mr. Milne is present. Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith is present. Ms. Vasquez Simmons.
Here.
Ms. Vasquez Simmons is present.
Is there anyone signed up for the public forum?
Yes, there is. You will have 2 minutes in which to address the committee. Please do not bring up any signs or props. Do not single out any legislator individually, and please conclude when the buzzer sounds. Our first speaker is Terrence Schnurr.
Madam President, John Adams was an extraordinary man and in many ways a great man. But one of the biggest blots on his record is his role in the adoption and implementation of the 4 statutes known as the Alien and Sedition Acts of 1798. The 2 worst of those statutes, the Sedition Act and the Alien Friends Act, contained provisions sunsetting them on March 3rd, 1801, Adams's last full day in office. A third, the Naturalization Act, was repealed in 1822. But the 4th, the Alien Enemies Act, remains in effect because people have believed through the centuries that the extraordinary powers it grants a president may be an arrow she needs in her quiver as commander-in-chief when we are at war. Although there are problems which each of the times the act has been invoked in the past in relation to the War of 1812, the First World War and the Second World War, one thing no one can question is that those were actual wars. To believe that the current invocation is justified, one must believe that we are at war with Venezuela. Newsflash, we're not. This is an abuse of power in which the president is misreading a statute to arrogate to himself powers that are in peacetime reserved to the Congress and the courts. When the courts definitively tell the president he cannot do this, as they will, and he defies them, as he probably will our leaders stand with the Constitution and the rule of law and speak out, or will they stand with one man's lust for power and remain silent? Thank you, and have a good night.
There are no others. That concludes the public forum. The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. You have the February 25th, 2025 minutes before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. The next item on the agenda is new business. Madam Clerk?
Referral 25-0124, authorized contracts for the preschool special education program.
Move it, Madam Chair.
Second.
Moved by Legislator Vasquez Simmons, seconded by Legislator Cruz. Is there any discussion? Legislator Milne.
Thank you. Through the chair to the administration, 3,521 children is a great number. Based upon known numbers, does the county anticipate an increase in both children served and approved providers in the future? And based upon known numbers, would we anticipate any financial concerns within the budget if we did have to increase the support?
Through the chair, Roxana Insko, Department of Health. At the moment, we're not aware of any potential new classrooms opening up. It's hard to determine if there's going to be an increase in service in the number of kids requiring services. We have seen a steady but small increase over the past 5 years of the number of kids who require preschool special education services.
Thank you very much. And then if I may just follow up through the chair. So based upon your answer, and I appreciate that information, there isn't a known number that we have just for the sake of discussion, 100 children or 200 children out there that we feel are not getting served because we just don't have enough room or anything like that?
I see. The school districts, each of the individual school districts hold the number of children who might be waiting for services still. We don't find out at the county about the children until they've found a provider for the kids. Back in March, we did hear from the Rochester City School District, and they shared that they have about 100 kids waiting for various services, mostly classroom services.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your answers. I yield the floor.
Any further discussion? Yes, Legislator Cruz.
Through the chair, I see the number 3,521 Monroe County children served for this grant. Do we have numbers kind of dividing how many kids were served in the city versus in the general county, or is it divided by school districts?
The Rochester City School District, being the largest district, does have the largest number of kids being served through the preschool special education program. I believe, again, back in March and looking at the data, they were being, from our outside service providers, they represented about 13% of all of the services being provided from those providers. I don't have specific data on how many children at the moment.
Thank you.
Yeah, Legislator Mill.
Thank you. Just then one more follow-up question, kind of in conjunction with Legislator Cruz's. Would it be possible, not now, in the future or at some time in the near future, to get some sort of detail? Now, I don't know if there's any type of HIPAA considerations or anything that's proprietary, but would it be possible to get some sort of a breakdown as far as where the children are indeed coming from?
Through the chair, yes, we can provide information on the children who have services provided. Again, we may not have the information about children who have been approved for services, but have not yet been assigned a provider.
Thank you. If that could just be provided to the individual caucuses, that'd be wonderful. Appreciate it. Thank you. I yield again.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 25-0125, amend resolution 324 of 2024 to accept additional funding from the New York State Department of Health for support of the Monroe County Nurse Family Partnership Program.
Move it, Madam Chair.
Moved by Legislator Vasquez Simmons, seconded by Legislator Cruz. Is there any discussion? Legislator Smith.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair, to the administration. How are those high-risk mothers and their families identified?
Through the chair, the families are identified by service providers. They can also be referred to the program through the community members themselves. And after they go through that process and they're deemed to be eligible for the program, they're then paired with a nurse. So they can come from multiple different avenues.
Thank you. I yield the floor.
Any further discussion? Yes, Legislator Brew.
Yes, I'd like to explain my vote. The Nurse Family Partnership, in my mind, is it's one of the shining lights of the services that the county provides. I've attended a couple of the graduations, and to see the graduation of the moms, the families, and the little ones is just it's very compelling. And my takeaway is this is a program that actually works. There are benefits, there are dividends that this pays, and actually results in a lower cost, better outcomes for these families in the future. So they're not a burden on social services. And one thing the referral doesn't mention, it does mention that Nurse Family Partnership does provide prenatal care. But from what I remember, the mom delivers, the child, and Nurse Family Partnership stays with that family for up to 2 years, I believe, right? So not only do they make sure the mom is taking care of health-wise, and in turn, the baby, is also healthy. They make sure that these kids are getting the best that they possibly can, given the situations that they're in through the services of Nurse Family Partnership. So I'm just delighted to be able to support this referral for this additional money going into this organization. So thank you.
Thank you, Legislator Brew. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 25-0126, acceptance of additional funding from the New York State Office of Mental Health and the New York State Office of Addiction Services and Supports. Amend Resolution 427 of 2024, authorizing contracts for the provision of mental health, developmental disabilities, and alcoholism and substance abuse services in 2025.
Move it, Madam Chair.
Moved by Legislator Vasquez Simmons, seconded by Legislator Cruz. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Are there any other matters to come before this committee?
I actually have something, Madam Chair.
Oh, yes.
Going back to the approval of minutes. If we can take a look at, I think there is a little discrepancy on the minutes as to who called the meeting to order. If we could just confirm it.
Oh, that is incorrect.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Just
you.
want to make sure the
Thank you for
record's clear.
catching that.
Yep.
All right. There being no other matters to come, there being no other matters, the March 25th, 2025 meeting of the Human Services Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Human Services Committee will be held on Tuesday, May 19th, May 20th at 5 p.m.
Thank you.